when this whole process started, I'm like, well, there's a guy on that list that would be awesome. Not sure they can get him. And I got to know him some when he was over at Wrigley when I was doing the Cubs every day. Great dude, well-respected. Theo Epstein raves about this guy, and he picked the Chicago White Sox. His name is Will Venable. He joins us on the home of the Sox, ESPN 1000. Will, thanks for taking time, man. Congratulations. It's got to be a really cool feeling to achieve your dream and to do it in a city that cares about sports like we do.
Absolutely, and thanks for having me, David. It's good to talk to you again. Yeah, we're really excited. This is going to be a great opportunity. And we know we got a lot of work to do, but we're really excited about the opportunity.
Absolutely, and people, wonder why you took the White Sox job and why now. I thought you might be hesitant because you have to deal with Jesse Rogers again.
No, there's a lot that goes into these decisions, and you're framing up the opportunities every offseason. Me and my family have just kind of the things that we are thinking about going into it, and certainly the opportunity to be in Chicago made it easy. On top of what we knew of Getzy and his reputation, just to even take the interview, and we got into the process and just continued to learn more and more about the organization and became more excited with every conversation we had. So just couldn't be happier about the opportunity.
So I had a long discussion one day with a guy you know well. I knew him at the Cubs, and I think you took his gig, Brandon Hyde. And I said, you're coming off a World Series team. You probably could have multiple opportunities to consider as a manager, and you go to a team where you're going to win like very few games for at least a couple years. Why do that? And he said, because A, management committed to me. B, they said, we want you to establish a foundation, a culture, a way we play, and if you do that, we'll keep working to get you talent, and eventually we'll get it turned. And obviously that worked. He's won 100 games one year, 90-something the next in the postseason. Is that like the discussion you would have had with Jerry and with Chris Getz? And as you looked at it, went, okay, it might take a little time to turn it, but I got a job to do to build a culture.
Yeah, absolutely. Very, very similar. The opportunity to be part of something and be able to help build the foundation for the future. And at the same time, the things that we know we need to do on a daily basis right now is obviously very appealing. And then, to take it a step further, it's really about the people, and to learn about Jerry and learn more about Chris and his group. The idea of the opportunity with those people just made it really attractive.
And based on your experience, and you've worked with a ton of great managers and had very high in the organization and accomplished a lot of things, how are you going to couple that, and what is your managerial style going to be with the White Sox?
Yeah, I think you are around some really cool people. I've been lucky to be around some unbelievable managers and unbelievable players, too, and executives, and I think you take a little bit from everybody, and it's certainly about the kind of environment that you want to create, and for me, it's about creating a really positive environment. It's hard in this league, and it doesn't matter if you play for the Chicago White Sox or any other team. It's a grind, and we all understand that in baseball. And then it's about going out there and doing the things that you need to do, and paying attention to the details, and really kind of sprinkling in that realism of accountability and direct communication with guys too. So. We know that that's not going to be easy, and everyone has their challenges with that. But, that's going to be my style, and it's creating a positive environment, but also being direct and realistic with the things that we need to do to get better.
Baseball, some say, not me, but some say it's a little slower moving until you're in the dugout and you're like, oh, God, I got to make a decision here. Get that guy up. Let's bunt. Move that guy here. And your staff helps you do some of that. I was a basketball coach, college basketball coach. You played college basketball. How does the basketball background that you have, all Ivy League honor, how does that help you as you look at baseball, which is a different sport, but can be fast-moving in your job?
Yeah, absolutely, and they are totally different, but there are some things that overlap. And one of the things for me that really stands out, specifically at Princeton with the Princeton offense, is just the attention to detail and the attention to our spacing and timing that we knew we had to have. as we were trying to execute plays in the Princeton offense. And that's something that I think is really important and you see show up every day in baseball too. And certainly positioning and getting ready defensively, the timing at the plate, and just the intricacies of every tiny moment on a baseball field. I think there's a lot of carryover and a lot of overlap and just the attention to detail that's needed.
We saw the Sox last year, towards the end of last year, really play for interim manager Grady Sizemore. As you start to fill out your staff, is there any thought to if he'll be on your staff and who else will be on your staff?
Yeah, we're still working through that stuff. I think it's pretty clear that Grady is somebody that had a tremendous impact on the group, somebody that, from the other side, I've respected. I've always looked up to him throughout my playing career, and there's definitely going to be a role that we find for him. I think especially for me coming into this opportunity as a new member of the organization and knowing the impact that Grady had, it's just a no-brainer to utilize him and weaponize him to help build our culture and do the things that we know that he's capable of doing as far as moving the group in the right direction.
You went trick-or-treating, I think, with your family. So what is that like walking around now? Are you in costume? Are you just hanging out? What's your favorite candy? Like, humanize yourself for us a little bit.
Yeah, well, you know what? Usually I'm a big costume guy, and my girls don't let me get away with not dressing up. Mm-hmm. This was a little different, to be honest. This last couple of days has been crazy, and so I wasn't able to be as thoughtful with my costume and end up just going as a 42-year-old dad. Otherwise, we just have a lot of fun with the girls, just cruising up and down the neighborhood. I'm a big Snickers guy, really, really chocolate over kind of the gummy candies or fruit candies. So I definitely stole a couple from my daughters. But, no, we go out there and we have a good time. And I felt bad that this year I wasn't able to dress up, but next year for sure.
Absolutely, and especially because now you'll be here in Chicago. You can dress up as, there's a lot of things. I mean, you could dress up as Ditka. You could dress up as former White Sox players. You could do whatever you want to. Do you determine your costume, or do your daughters determine what you're dressing up as?
You know what? I have veto power, and I'll say no to some stuff. One of their ideas this year was to dress up as the Chicago White Sox manager, and I shut that down. I didn't think that was a good idea. But they make all the decisions. They bring the ideas to the table, and I might shut a couple down, but they're full of ideas.
Now, it is a long, long season. When spring training starts, I mean, you're engulfed in this thing. You got to speak to the media twice every single day of the season. Before the game, you sit there. After the game, you got to explain yourself, good or bad. And the next day, you got to get up and do it all again. Will you live here around the full time all year? Will your kids go to school here? Will you stay out west? What will you do?
No, we'll always have our home base. I think that obviously with this role, there's going to be more time that I'll spend in Chicago. But my family is really flexible. We've done this before where the girls have come out and spent a lot of time during the summer. It's also really important for me that they have their routine at home and are able to do the things that they want to do because they're getting older and now they have lives. But I understand the importance of my presence in Chicago throughout the year, and I'll definitely be spending more time in that.
This is obviously a fan base that has been going through a lot the last few years. They're down worse than they have been in a long time, given the historic losses last year. What's your message as new White Sox manager to the fan base this season?
Yeah, I think certainly understand that. And, I just want it to be about moving forward, and what they can expect. And not just talking about it, but going out and doing it. And for me, that's just going out there and playing with a lot of energy. And I know that those are the types of things that, everyone's heard before. But I was just really impressed with this group last year, where I know that it was tough in the wins and losses column. But every time that we played them, they were close games. These guys continue to play with energy and continue to compete. And that's what I want to see going forward and add to that mentality and that, be able to create a winning culture and a winning mentality where we have that, but we're also adding pieces and we're doing some of the other things that we know we have to do to win games. So for me, that's how I look at it, is that this is a group that has gone through a lot of stuff, has continued to fight, and we just want to build on that and continue to add and grow what we already have.
In terms of Theo Epstein, I remember him telling me, I had my eye on that guy for a while. And once you ended your playing days, late 2017 season, you get named a special assistant. This guy's going to the Hall of Fame, man. He is an icon in this town. What did you learn from Theo?
Yeah, a lot of things from Theo. And I think as much as what I learned about, leadership from him as an observer, he just helped develop me in every sense of the way. And Jed Hoyer, too. These guys spent a lot of time and were very thoughtful about what they exposed me to. I was able to sit in on draft meetings, sit in on deadline meetings, and to watch them and their leadership. And, one of the things that I think was amazing about Bochy and what I saw also with Jed and Theo is how they empower the people around them. You always felt like you could speak up in meetings and that you were heard and that your contributions were valued. And certainly, the people in the room, the smartest people in the room were certainly Jed and Theo, and obviously they were going to make the decisions. But just the way that these guys led people really made an impact on me personally, but also was a great example of really high leadership.
Well, your family should be very, very proud of you. People in Chicago are excited. They just want to turn the page and start heading in a really positive direction. So congratulations on getting your opportunity, and we look forward to getting you in the studio when you're in town and working closely with you as we're the home of the White Sox.
Thank you guys so much for having me. We're very excited.
All the best.